They thought she was just another black girl they could silence, just another name lost in the system. But what they didn't know was that her brother wasn't just watching. He was ready to burn the whole system down for her. Arielle Porter had everything lined up. UCLA's pre-law program had already sent her an acceptance letter. Her teachers called her a prodigy. Her track coach said she was a force of nature. Her parents, both educators, glowed with pride. At 17, she was the blueprint of a bright future. That's why the stop at Discount City, a cheap, cluttered strip mall store in Tempe, Arizona, was supposed to be a quick errand. Her backpack had finally ripped apart, and with finals looming in 2 weeks, she needed a replacement. "Don't spend a fortune," her mom had joked that morning as she left the house. Inside, the store buzzed with noise. Kids darted between shelves. A cashier yelled for a price check, and the fluorescent lights flickered like they were on their last B. Arielle found what she needed in minutes, a plain navy backpack. She got in line, casually scrolling through her messages, when a tap on the shoulder froze her. A man in a red polo, the store manager, stood over her. He told her to follow him to the back. She blinked. "Why?" she asked. He said she was accused of shoplifting. Shock spread through her. She hadn't touched anything else. Still, she followed him past rows of onlookers, whose stares pierced deeper than words. In the cramped back office, he ordered her to empty her bag and pockets. With trembling hands, she obeyed. Out came her phone, wallet, lip balm, and the backpack. Tags still attached. Nothing stolen. But the manager's face darkened, like he was disappointed, like innocence wasn't the result he wanted. Still, he insisted on calling the police. Store policy, he shrugged. The officer who arrived was courteous. At first, he even muttered an apology as he handcuffed her. "Just protocol," he said. But Arielle couldn't hear him over the sound of her future crumbling. In the cruiser's back seat, she stared blankly. This couldn't be her life. At the station, she was booked for petty theft. Her protests fell on deaf ears. After hours of sitting in that cold cell, they handed her a court date and sent her home. Wrist sore, heartbroken. That night, she buried her cries in her pillow, hoping her parents wouldn't hear. Days blurred. When the court date came, her parents, desperate, hired a local attorney, Mr. Halverson, who treated her case like an annoying paperwork stack. "Stay polite. These things usually go away," he told her. At the Maricopa County Courthouse, Arielle wore her best church dress, clutched her glowing report cards and reference letters like armor. She walked into the courtroom, trying to believe justice would see her. But Judge Constance Weller barely acknowledged her plea of not guilty. Cold and efficient. She didn't ask about the store footage Halverson said existed, footage that would clear Arielle completely. Instead, she pushed the case forward, ruling there was probable cause for a felony charge. Felony. The word echoed in Arielle's skull like a siren. Her scholarships, her future, everything she'd worked for, dangling over a lie. She wanted to shout, to stand, to scream, but she knew the rules. Black girls don't get to raise their voices in courtrooms that were never built for them. She sat back down, tears stinging behind her eyes, and in that moment, one name came to her, Roman, her brother. But calling Roman wasn't just asking for help. It was asking for an earthquake. 2 weeks passed in a fog of sleepless nights and fear. Arielle barely ate. Her parents tried to stay strong, but every conversation spiraled toward despair. On the day of her next hearing, she sat quietly in the back of her father's car as they drove to court. Her mom whispered prayers under her breath. The night before, Roman had called her from Washington, D.C. He said, "Stay calm. I'm watching everything. If it goes bad, I step in." She didn't know what bad would look like. but she was about to find out. Inside courtroom 2B, Halverson sat beside her, flipping papers half-heartedly. He'd promised to bring the video footage, promised to fight. But Arielle no longer believed in promises. Judge Weller entered like a storm cloud in heels. She didn't smile. She didn't greet anyone. She called case after case, like a board checklist. Arielle Porter, case number 5739. Arielle rose, legs trembling. Halverson cleared his throat. Your Honor, we request dismissal based on new video evidence from the store, clearly showing my client committed no theft. Judge Weller cut him off mid-sentence. Motion denied. This court finds sufficient cause. We proceed to trial. Arielle's heart punched against her ribs. She turned to Halverson, expecting outrage, an objection, something. He said. Then the prosecutor stood. Your Honor, based on new information, the state moves to elevate the charge to felony grand theft. Gasps filled the courtroom. Halverson bolted upright. That's absurd. The item was... Enough, Weller barked. Let the jury decide. Arielle's knees buckled. Her life was unraveling in real time. Judge Weller set bail at $5,000, money her parents didn't have. Her father dropped his head into his hands. Her mother's lips moved in a silent prayer. People passed by laughing, talking, sipping coffee like nothing had happened. But one person cared, and he wasn't just going to speak. He was going to shake the ground beneath them. Roman Porter didn't make threats. He made things move. By the time Arielle sent the text, Roman was already on his feet in D.C., sleeves rolled up, tie loosened, fire in his eyes. He dialed a direct line. Assistant U.S. Attorney Caleb Rock. I need boots on the ground in Tempe. There's a judge burying my sister. I want her whole record on my desk before lunch. Caleb didn't ask questions. I'm on it. Roman's jaw clenched. Find everything on Judge Weller. Every buried complaint. Every bad ruling. Every whisper. As he ended the call, Roman stared out the window at the Capitol. This wasn't about one case anymore. If Arielle was telling the truth, and he knew she was, then there was rot in that courtroom. And Roman had every intention of tearing it out by the roots. A judge tensed. Just hearing that name changed the entire energy in the courtroom. Judge Weller subtly adjusted her robe, stalling for time. The motion is denied, she said. The court has already ruled on the relevance of that footage. Caleb stepped forward, his voice measured but sharp. Then the defense moves to enter into evidence prior filed grievances against this courtroom, specific to patterns of selective enforcement and suppression of key evidence. A hush fell. Even the court reporter froze, hands hovering above the keys. Weller's face flushed crimson. This is beyond irregular. And yet, Caleb interrupted, his tone like steel. Here we are. Arielle could barely breathe. Her fingers gripped the wooden bench until her knuckles ached. Judge Weller banged her gavel once, hard. Matter under advisement. This court stands adjourned until further notice. She bolted from the bench, nearly toppling her chair on the way out, vanishing into her chambers. Outside, Arielle turned to Caleb and whispered, "Is it over? Did we win?" He shook his head. "Not yet," he said. "But she's shaken. It's time to strike." He pulled out his phone and called Roman. "She's on the ropes. We need to move now." Roman didn't hesitate. "I'm on my way." 2 hours later, a sleek black SUV parked in front of the courthouse. Roman Porter emerged, not in a politician's suit, but jeans and a leather jacket, like a man ready for war. Staffers murmured. Lawyers craned their necks. Roman ignored them all. He moved up the marble steps like they belonged to him. Inside, Weller had barricaded herself in chambers, citing a motion review. Roman wasn't deterred. He approached the clerk. This is no longer state jurisdiction, he said, handing over an envelope sealed by the Deputy Attorney General. Inside, a formal announcement of a federal investigation into courtroom corruption tied to Judge Weller's tenure. By late afternoon, internal affairs from the DOJ were deep diving into 5 years of case records. Arielle stood frozen in the hallway as the press swarmed in, cameras flashing, reporters circling like sharks. Roman approached, voice low. "You did the right thing, Ari. You spoke up when it counted." She blinked back tears. "What happens now?" Roman offered a tired smile. "Now we make sure no one like you ever gets buried again." This wasn't just about freeing Arielle. It was about unraveling a web of silence Judge Weller had built her power on. By morning, the courthouse was under siege. News vans clogged the street. Protesters appeared. Even bailiffs looked rattled. Weller convened a surprise hearing, trying to reassert control. She was sharper now, speaking with forced authority, but the room no longer belonged to her. Roman stood in the gallery, arms folded, unflinching. Caleb sat beside Arielle at the defense table, gripping a thick folder of damning evidence. Weller entered and barely acknowledged Roman. "This court will now proceed with the preliminary hearing in the matter of the state versus Arielle Porter," she announced. Caleb stood. "Your Honor, the defense moves for immediate dismissal due to clear evidence of systemic judicial misconduct. 32 formal complaints, multiple sealed settlements, a consistent pattern of constitutional violations, all under your watch." Judge Weller's mouth twitched. "This isn't relevant to—" Roman stepped forward, his voice slicing through protocol like a blade. "With all due respect, Your Honor, when your integrity is in question, nothing is relevant until that's addressed." Pens scribbled. Cameras rolled. The prosecutor, pale and shaken, stammered about needing time to review. Caleb pressed harder. "There's nothing to review. This is done." Silence. Then, "Charges dismissed, without prejudice." The words were bitter in Weller's mouth. The room buzzed, not with cheers, but with a laugh. Arielle turned to Roman. He nodded once. No celebration, just confirmation. Outside, the battle was far from over. Roman stepped up to the microphones. "My sister's story isn't an anomaly. It's a mirror. A reflection of every silenced kid, every overlooked voice, every broken promise this system has made to our communities. We're not stopping. Not now, not ever." He revealed the next move, a full federal investigation into judicial conduct across Maricopa County. The state quaked. By nightfall, Weller's name was trending. She began speaking at schools in Tempe, then Phoenix, Mesa. She didn't sugarcoat it. She told kids how easily your life can unravel. But she also told them, "Your voice matters. Don't ever let anyone steal it." Roman stayed longer than planned. Quietly, he built a foundation to help young defendants get real legal help. No press, just results. At home, normalcy returned piece by piece. Her parents smiled more. Her mom painted. Her dad played the guitar he'd always meant to learn. Then, Arielle's acceptance letter to UCLA was reconfirmed, along with a scholarship, this time because of her courage. When she flew to Los Angeles that fall, she brought only 2 bags, one for clothes, one for letters from people who said her fight gave them strength. As the plane lifted, she finally felt peace. Not because justice had magically fixed itself, but because she had survived it. She didn't just withstand the storm. She became the storm. Just before takeoff, her phone rang. "Roman, you proud of me?" she teased. He chuckled. "Kid, you're just getting started." 2 days before classes began, Arielle sat on a bench overlooking Santa Monica Beach. It was a picture-perfect evening. Families laughing, surfers packing up. But something lingered, unfinished. She dialed a number she'd nearly deleted. To her surprise, Weller answered. Silence. Long and awkward. Then Arielle spoke. I don't know why you did what you did. Maybe you thought you were protecting something. Or maybe you just didn't see me. Still, Weller said nothing. I'm not calling to scream. And I'm not here to forgive you. I just want you to know, you lost. A long breath on the other end. Then Weller finally muttered, You don't understand how the world works. Arielle almost laughed. I understand enough. And I refuse to live in the version of the world you tried to trap me in. She didn't wait for a reply. She ended the call and walked toward the surf, the wind tugging at her sleeves. That call would stay with her, not for what was said, but for what it meant. Some people never change. Some systems will fight to stay broken. But change doesn't ask permission. It demands people willing to stand up, speak out, and refuse to vanish. Arielle smiled as the cold ocean kissed her feet. Her fight had become bigger than her, and this time, she knew she wasn't alone. If this story moved you, don't let it stop here. Share it. Speak up. Be the voice someone else is waiting for. And if you believe in stories that dare to speak truth to power, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this platform isn't just about stories, it's about change. And your voice, it belongs in this fight.